Hey everybody, it's me, Professor Cypress, and like many of you probably are aware of now, I have officially changed the channel name to represent my status as a Pokemon professor. The old one just didn't fit. And if you're new to the channel, well, I'm Professor Cypress and I create and give you custom Pokemon partners. But today we're going to do something a little bit different because I asked if you guys wanted me to do a Q&A and you all said yes. So sit back, grab a cup of coffee or grab a tea because it's in the morning time and I know you need that little cup of joe or that nice sweet tea to get started on your day. Now, this is going to be very uncut. I am going to really just read these. I'm going to have a conversation with you. This video is not going to be super scripted. Actually, it's not going to be scripted at all. So sit back, enjoy, because this one could be a long one because I do have a couple questions that we're going to answer. And yeah, I'm going to read them officially. I have not thought out any of the answers. I am doing this purely just for fun to give you guys a little bit better understanding of who I am and it just add that little bit of connection. So we're gonna start this off. You got your cup of joe? You got your cup of tea? Let's go. So our first question is from Ryan Horton 762, and they actually have two questions for me. Three, sorry. The first is, what's your favorite Pokemon that I have made? I don't really have a favorite. I enjoy all of them. There's aspects of each Pokemon that I enjoy more than others. So I wouldn't say I really have a favorite. I kind of like to just create stuff that's fun, something that I would like. So I don't have a favorite. Do I like sloths? Yeah, yes I do. I like sloths. They're cool. I wish I was a sloth right now because I could just slowly move through my day. And are you going to add any mega? So a lot of you guys have asked me if I'm going to add mega forms. The answer is no. I'm not going to do mega or any other special forms. And the reason behind this is if I do one mega, I got to do megas for everybody. It's just kind of one of those things. If I start doing it for one, I'm gonna have to do it for everybody, or someone's not gonna be, happy about it. So no, as of right now, I will not be doing megas. So thanks, Ryan Horton, for your questions, and we're gonna just move on. We're just gonna, go through all of these. So the next question is from Rokus spoke Rokus Spokovicus. Rokus Spokovicus. I'm going to pronounce their names really wrong, and I apologize because again, I'm not pre-recording these, or sorry, I'm not recording these over and over again until I think I get it right. So your first question, where is my inspiration when doing Pokemon content? The world. There is so much out there that we have not explored. There is so much out there that Game Freak hasn't done. So when I do certain creations or when I look to make a certain video, I will look for real life situations like colors, what kind of animals I want to do. I'll look at, if you've watched a couple of my videos, I've done a poison water type that was a platypus because platypuses are the only venomous mammal. So I thought that was like, something really unique and cool. So that kind of answers your second question too. Like, where do I get my ideas? Just from life. Life gives me my questions. And again, you asked if I have any favorite custom Pokemon. No, they're all. I like them all. That's just what it is. We next have some questions from Henzala, who has been absolutely a stellar viewer. You have commented on literally every video, so I really appreciate you. And yours is, when did I start doing custom and what inspired me? So, um, I think I've always dabbled with the idea of custom Pokemon. Like many people who have played Pokemon, you always think of something, you always create something in your brain. But now I've just put them into video form so that I can share them with you. Um, and what inspired me? Honestly, I think the big leap was, and this is again going to answer some questions. The big leap that inspired me into this video was another YouTube content creator. I'm sure all of you know who I'm talking about, Pokedex Filler. Um, I saw them start doing it, and I jumped on the train right away too. We're pretty neck and neck when it comes to how many videos and how many Pokemon we have each done. They, kind of like everything in YouTube or anything in social media. If one person does something, it's a trickling effect, and then we're all just going to modify it and do something in our own style. And I think that my style is significantly different than his, and his style is significantly different than mine, but we do similar content. Um, so my next question is from Gaming Mouse. How do I come up with so many ideas? What helps me through my process, like creating Pokemon? But how often do I have mental blocks? And is there any concepts that I'm unable to finish? Yeah, yeah. There definitely is some blocks, like everything. I might have an idea in my head, and then it doesn't play out the same way that I want it to. Um, so I just kind of move past that. Um, it's just the easiest way to kind of do it. Um, I think that my process when creating them is just like, again, when I spin the wheels and stuff like that, it kind of sparks some interesting ideas in my head. Um, no video, no wheel, and no video, no viewer is going to comment. I'm going to spin the wheel, and then the next day they're going to get a Pokemon. Some of you have been waiting for a little bit, and some of you got Pokemon that have commented, a couple of weeks ago. Because again, the process takes a while, and there's a lot of starting from the drawing board and doing something, and failing and then going back, and that's just the way of life, right? You do something, you think you got the right idea, and then you fail, but then you try another approach, and it's kind of the same thing with this. Um, from John Drew, what is my opinion on randomly generating Pokemon for you? It's an okay video series. It's really good when I need a place filler, or when I am, as you guys have probably figured out, I will do custom Pokemon, custom Pokemon, custom Pokemon, surviving a random disaster, and then what Pokemon are you? I like putting that in as a placeholder when I need to do a quick video, because I'm traveling or I'm doing something else that I don't have as much time to do a custom Pokemon video. So it's fun. I don't mind it. Um, let's see. We're just going through all this stuff. So stand for Pines. Have I considered making a proper region, starter, mythical, legendaries, etc.? Yes. That was almost one of the first things I thought about. Actually, that was the first thing I wanted to do before making a video. I wanted to do like a process of making a video and going through all of that. But just with um, you know, personal, having a new child, having a new baby, I just didn't have the time. So if this was, 5, 6 months ago, would be in a different situation. But I do have a region name. I do have like mythicals and legendaries that are designed for that region. But until now, no, I don't have a proper region. But yeah, it's something that I would definitely like to do. So that is the first post of your questions. But we did do a second one, so we're going to go through that. So again, I hope you guys like this kind of video. If you want me to do more stuff where I'm not, high energy, super crazy Professor Cypress, making jokes and all that stuff, and just really just having conversations with you, then yeah, like let me know. So our second one would be, our second um, post is from Diablos43. Um, did you perhaps think of creating a fan-made game? Again, so to answer that question, and kind of ties into the other one. Yes, I did think of that. I have looked at processes. It's not as complicated as it actually seems. There's a lot of software now that is able to, you're able to do that kind of stuff. And then their second question is, have you perhaps wondered if you would make a fourth wheels that can be, so a fourth wheel to add in forms? Yes, that was originally when I first started doing the videos. My very first one, I actually did do an X Factor style thing, right? With, megas and any of that other stuff. And again, I think that making a mega can just, it just opens up a whole nother, just, yeah. At this time, no, I won't be doing megas. Like I said, if I do one for one person, every single video, every single person is going to expect a mega. And I know a lot of you won't, but there is still going to be those few that are, upset that, their Pokemon doesn't evolve. As we have, had that one video where I gave a Pokemon away to another trainer whose trainer was mistreating it. they'll be upset if they didn't get a mega. So as of right now, no, I won't be doing megas. Zoe the Lumarok trainer, I like that you changed your name to Lumarok. That is your custom Pokemon that we did for you. So your questions are, what is your first Pokemon game? My first Pokemon game was actually Pokemon Silver. Even though I'm a Gen 1er, Pokemon Silver was my first Pokemon game. I was born during Generation 1, but I never really officially. I wouldn't say I wasn't old enough to appreciate it, but Pokemon Silver was my very first game that I played through. And then basically, right after I finished that, I went to Pokemon Red. Or no, sorry, Pokemon Blue, not Red. Pokemon Blue, and then ran through that, and then got Pokemon Yellow because it had Pikachu. What game is my favorite? If I get rid of the nostalgia blinders, I would say my favorite. You know what? I think each game has something that I like in it. Generation One is the OG. It is the most universally recognized. You can pretty much show any Pokemon and someone, you're going to know that Pokemon. Even if you've never played Pokemon in 10, 15, 20 years, it's been that long, I could still throw up a Pokemon and you still could remember who that Pokemon is. Um, but I think if you're an actual fan and you've played them, there's certain things that that are good. Generation Two had the 16 badges. That was really good. It was a really extended game. Generation Three was just absolutely amazing. I don't think they missed on any of the Pokemon in that generation. All the starters are universally liked. The same thing as Generation One for the most part. You'll have your favorite, but if you were to get a Bulbasaur or a Charmander or a Squirtle, you'd be like, yeah, I'm good with that. It's the same thing with Generation Three. I think the one that I've had the most fun with, uh, you know what? I don't hate Black and White. I think Black and White 2 and just Black and White in general were a lot of fun. But I think my favorite, the game that I would go to the most would probably be Pokemon Emerald. I think Pokemon Emerald, Generation 3. As much as I love Generation 2, I think Generation 3. Um, what do you name your trainer? I think I'm pretty generic for the most part. I think when I was younger, I would just name it my first name. But as I got older, I started getting gray hair, so I started naming my Pokemon trainer Gray, just because I thought that was funny. I nickname my party members? Sometimes, if it's a Pokemon that I'm going to use a lot, then I will name that Pokemon. But for the most part, no, I'm kind of boring and I just kind of, they're just who they are. It also kind of just makes things easier for me when I'm like, especially when I was a kid, trying to remember all the Pokemon names. If I change the names and then I'm calling, Scyther, Claw or something, I don't know, then, I'm going to be like, oh yeah, like that's not Scyther, that's Claw. So no, I don't really name my Pokemon. And then if you do nickname your Pokemon, what is the first nickname you used? And what Pokemon got that nickname? So my first, I honestly, my first Pokemon that I nicknamed was in Pokemon Yellow, was Pikachu, my partner, and I again generically just named it Spark. That was the first Pokemon that I named. And then what was your first Pokemon drawn? So I don't know if a lot of you remember, because again, the ages on this channel vary from closer to my age and older, all the way down to like young viewers. But when Pokemon first came out, they came out with a book called the Pokemon drawing, like draw the original 151, and it would show you how to draw like a Charmander and all that kind of stuff. That was my first attempt at getting into the drawing aspect of things. If you can call it that when you're that young, it's kind of just scribbling on a page. But that's kind of like what I would say was my first time. If that answers your question, hopefully that does. What do I say? And this question is from Pro678. And their question is, how do you see this channel in the future? That's actually a really good question. And it's something I do ask myself very frequently. I think that, like everything, the fire will burn so brightly for so long, but you always have to adapt. And that's why I do sprinkle in a little bit of different content here and there. But I do think that I could, I have a decent amount of Pokemon knowledge, so we can always break down lore and, people's theories and, all that kind of stuff. There's, those Pokemon pack openings. Like, Pokemon's one of those things that, like, I don't think is ever going to officially truly die out. It's really just getting more and more popular. But for my channel, I think, we're still in the development phase. I've just started finding myself as a content creator. My fan has decided to blow on, so if you hear it, I apologize. What generation of Pokemon game is your favorite? So that answers the question two that Zoe the Lumarock trainer had. My favorite would be Generation 2 if I take, if I keep my blinders on, Generation 3 if I think about it from an aspect. But I also really like Sun and Moon. There's a lot of, like, I know a lot of people are going to be like, what? You like Sun and Moon? I do. There's a lot of Pokemon in that generation that I think are absolutely phenomenal. And for the most part, like, they have some solid, like, Drampa, Komodo, Mimikyu. I can name so many. They just had so many cool Pokemon. What is your favorite Pokemon? And if I said it already, oh well. Yeah, my favorite Pokemon is Nidoking. I think Nidoking is awesome design. I just really like the idea of this giant dinosaur Pokemon. So yeah, I think that's a a super awesome Pokemon. So a question from Cheapy Quill. Again, you guys asked me a lot of questions. I really appreciate that. What is Team Titan Tech's leader's name? So yeah, that's actually something I haven't disclosed yet. And I think I can disclose it now. His name is Varen. He is, well, you don't know who he is yet, but the Team Titan Tech leader name is Varen. What are Team Titan Tech's goals? Yeah, absolutely. So I've touched on it a little bit, and depending on when you have come into the channel, things, you might know more, you might know less, but to just kind of catch everybody up, Team Titans Tech ultimate goal is to create a Pokemon so powerful, or create Pokemon in general that are so powerful that they basically wipe out the organic Pokemon and take over. Varen just views Pokemon as weak life forms, and that he can create something better with his mad scientist skills, basically. What are the grunt themed Pokemon? Um, because we don't actually have grunts, and some of you decided to be, um, Team Titan Tech members, and then we do custom Pokemon for you. There's no real theme. I guess the only real thing that I try to stick to is maybe dark or poison. So sometimes I will, um, pick one of those typings already and then spin the type and see what the secondary is. Or I'll spin the wheel once and then be like, oh yeah, that's a cool typing. I'm going to pair that with this. But that doesn't mean that's always the case. Again, it all depends on what my brain is thinking at that time. What do you do, Professor? Sorry. What do you, Professor, focus on with Pokemon research? Yeah, custom Pokemon. Um, I think that's kind of fun. That's why I kind of took on the role as Professor Cypress. My research is on custom Pokemon, and similar to like every other Pokemon professor, we give new trainers Pokemon, and that's the whole point of this video, is to kind of give you Pokemon starter to start your journey with. It's your first Pokemon. The idea of not knowing what you're going to get kind of brings that nostalgia value of when you first started your Pokemon game. You have the three Pokeballs in front of you. You don't know who you're picking. You can see the picture of the first evolution, but you don't know who they're going to evolve into, especially if you don't, go online and start looking everything up. But, Generation 1, Generation 2, when you didn't have the internet, uh, same capabilities. Sorry, you probably had the internet, but the same capabilities. You just kind of pick a partner, and whatever happens is whatever happens. So that is my question there, or hopefully that answers your question there. And then from It's Mo You, number one, why did you start doing shorts, and where did you get the idea from? So I've been doing YouTube content for just over about a year now, but I was off and on, mainly because I was trying to find my niche and what I enjoyed doing. So I got the idea, I'm going to be point blank with you guys. I did get the idea from Pokedex Filler, who is probably the biggest YouTuber that is doing this content, and seeing them I think after the second video, I was like, I'm going to start doing this too. I can do this and I can add something different. I can add a more story aspect to it. His channel is a lot more, um, how do I word this? How do I word this properly? Sorry, my brain is, this is the dad brain. Uh, Familiar. That's the word I'm looking for. They're very familiar. He's a very familiar channel, right? You can pick up that channel and you feel that familiar vibes that he's offering, and that's amazing. But I wanted to do something a little bit different, and that's why I've added in like a story RPing side of it. So if you go through the comments, you'll see trainers and viewers RPing as their Pokemon trainer, and so we just different vibes. Sorry, wow, that took me a while. This is what happens when you're a new dad and your brain is now mush. Um, the second question is, when did you start drawing? And if so, um, can we see some? I don't have anything. I moved, and we basically scrapped 90% of everything that we had. That was whatever, and I don't actually have any of my old stuff as a kid. It's just sadly it is what it is. Um, so I can't really answer that question for you. I apologize. So AC is here. Your question is, what is my Pokemon team? Yeah. So I think about this a lot when I go to sleep. And I think it changes all the time, but there's always this staple three or four that always stay there. Nidoking is number one, Clefable number two. My number three spot usually goes to Komodo. My number four spot would probably be the Lillipup line. Any of them, because I like all of them. So I would literally have a Lillipup or a Herdier. I don't care. I'll have all three. So that's usually my fourth. And then my fifth and sixth usually changes. But it usually is, I would say, pretty solid in either a Dragalge, uh, Barbarrel. I like that a lot. I like that Pokemon a lot. Um, but Beedrill or Crobat, so it kind of switches in between those Pokemon. I don't really like putting legendaries on my Pokemon team because I just feel like it's like a cheat or like a hack. So whatever. Stanford Pines, you did ask me another question. So you actually added a second question. I apologize. Your question was, am I getting enough sleep as a new dad? No, I'm not. I'm not getting enough sleep. I'm always tired, but I think that's just kind of comes with the territory when you're a new dad. But I do have a wife, and she's wicked, and she obviously it's 50-50, right? Like we both take the brunt of when he's awake. So no, I'm not getting enough sleep, but I still work full time and I do YouTube video content on the side. So I am probably running on 95 cups of coffee and 2 hours of sleep. So that's kind of who I am. Donkey Boy asks me, what advice would you give to other Pokemon YouTubers if they wanted to start? That's actually a really good question. I would say if you wanted to start doing Pokemon content, the best thing you can do is think about something that will make you, very unique. Pokemon is such, I don't want to say saturated, but it is a market that a lot of people are drawn to, content creators especially. Um, and you just have to do something that will be you, something that is uniquely yours. Now, you can do stuff that is similar to other people because at the end of the day, everything we are doing when it comes to YouTube content, someone has already done. So, like Selena Gomez has like said, every word has already been sung, but right now here's another one. Um, just be you. Just do something you enjoy. If you enjoy it, people are gonna know you enjoy it, and they're gonna stick around. That's the easiest thing, and that's the easiest way that I can explain it. Like I started off my YouTube journey before Professor Cypress with around 1,000 subscribers, and we have destroyed that number. And you guys are all wicked for sticking around with me, but we have destroyed that number because I think like if you are you and you are authentic to who you are as a person and a YouTube content creator, don't try to be someone you're not. It's fine if you do content that's similar, but do it in your own way. Don't just completely, copy and paste. Like, do something that is a little bit different. So that's my advice to you. And you can, just don't be discouraged if you start off and, your videos are not doing as great as you want them to. You can be, 2 weeks later and all of a sudden your video gets picked up by the YouTube algorithm. So just, just keep doing it. Chelsea XJ asks me what my favorite generation is, why. Generation 2 is my favorite generation. Because that's the generation I first started playing, closely followed by Generation 2. But I would say if I take all that off, there is Pokemon in each generation and aspects of each game that I really enjoy. But Generation 2 is probably my go-to. If I ever want to just sit down and replay a Pokemon game, Generation 2 all day long. It's just, there's so much to be offered in that game. 16 badges? Come on. So many Pokemon. Like, let's go. So yeah, Deathbat, asked me if, what inspired me to make Pokemon content, custom Pokemon content. Again, seeing other, custom content be created, there's a lot of great custom content creators, and I wanted to be one of them. So that is what inspired me. I knew that I could offer a different approach on it, and I wanted to offer my approach on this very popular. It's starting to get very popular idea. And then again, I give props where props are due, and I don't want to be that guy that says that I was the first one to pioneer this. I'm not. Okay, I'm not.
So I'm going to do a voiceover here because when I was reading this name, I could not pronounce it no matter how much I tried. I think just the lack of sleep. But it's so simple. It's do you 3v3r. So let's read your comment.
Do you have any plans in making a proper spin-off? It involves Pokemon lore, region, Team Titan lore. I can't say for sure right now. I don't want to give anybody false hopes. I do any big project that I have in my brain. It takes me a while to do just because I don't have as much time in the day as I would like. Will I write it off that I will never do this? No, I won't, because there is a possibility that I could do something like this. I just think at this present time, as a new dad, I don't think I can. But I will drop lore. If you guys want a lore video, let me know. I was trying to do an animation. It's a lot. It's very demanding on my time. I wouldn't say I'm not going to do it. I still would like to do that. But right now, it's on the back burner. It's on the stove. It's on simmer, but it's on the back burner. Perry Hudson, what treatment do you think Game Freak is doing to the 3 elemental monkeys? That's a very interesting question and something that I didn't think that was going to be asked of me. You know what? I don't know. I think that in every single Pokemon game, there is those Pokemon that are write-offs that are just there to stuff the Pokedex. The idea of the elemental monkeys was really interesting. You go to the gym, and depending on what your starter is, they pick the Pokemon that they're strong against, or they pick the Pokemon that you're weak against. And I think that was just like a reason for you to level up, explore a little bit, go over to the haunted area, and I think. I don't know. It would be really cool to see those Pokemon either get a third evolution or get some sort of love. Just get some love. They're a really cool idea. They're a really cool Pokemon. So it'd be cool to see them get a little bit more attention. And then, yeah, I think that's it. I think I read every single question. I really enjoy doing this. If this is something that you want to, more videos where I'm just kind of talking to you guys to the camera, let me know. I really enjoy doing them. Speaking truthfully and not, having like a script or reading the video and over again until it's completely perfect. This is very raw. This is very uncut. So if you like this kind of stuff, let me know, and I will be more than gladly to do more stuff like this. So hopefully your guys' cup of coffee or your tea was perfect. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this more chill style video. And with that, Professor Cypress saying, let's go. Have yourselves a great day. Peace.